Orlando was buzzing, but the early season euphoria has subsided into the dog days of summer. Louisville hopes that Gemma Bonner can help steady a leaky defense in pursuit of a second straight road victory, but only if she can help tame Sydney Leroux, who's looking to take hold of the scoring title race and end a two-game losing streak in the process. It's the Pride in Racing live on Twitch. Welcome to the NWSL exclusively on Twitch. It's the lone game this Friday night from Exploria Stadium in Orlando as Racing Louisville pays a visit narrowly beneath the playoff line against an Orlando Pride side near the top of the standings. Mike Watts, Lisa Roman for the call to this one. You look at the NWSL standings coming into the night, and Racing Louisville with a win changes their fortunes massively for Orlando, put in their place a little bit by the Courage.
3 points for Racing if they get this win tonight, and they are tied for fourth with the Houston Dash. And Orlando Pride just knocked out of that #1 spot last week against North Carolina. But hey, 15 points, 16 gets you to the top. 3 wins, 3 points tonight on a win.
Let's take a look at some players to watch. Michelle Betos has been otherworldly.
Racing Louisville's goalkeeper Michelle Betos has 48 saves this season. She leads the league, and no other goalkeeper has more than 28 saves, 8 years in the leagues for Betos, and man, her veteran experience has been proven throughout this regular season.
Playing at a different level, but not to be outdone, Ashlyn Harris has gotten it done in every facet.
Talk about those penalty kick saves for Ashlyn Harris of the Orlando Pride. She saved every single penalty kick she has faced this season. She studies her opponents. She understands which way they're going to kick. She does her research before the game, brings it to training, and she never lets down during the game.
Let's meet the starting lineup for Orlando and Mark Skinner. No Marta, no Morgan, but LaRue starts up front. Krieger and Presley combine in the back.
For Orlando Pride, it's a 4-3-3. Take a look at that midfield unit with Maggie Doherty-Howard and Gunny Jonsdotter. They'll be the defensive block, with Erica Timmerick having more freedom to float in the middle, maybe go out wide. She'll sit in between Louisville's defensive and midfield line, occupying that space.
Meanwhile, Christy Holly welcoming Gemma Bonner back into the starting 11 in the back. Ebony Salmon up front. Cece Kaiser moves out to a more familiar wing position.
For Racing Louisville, I'm looking at that center back pairing, Gemma Bonner and Neely Martin. They complement each other so well. And on the outsides in the back, Erin Simon and Emily Fox, they get up the flanks, contributing into the attack. And with Ebony Salmon in that striker position, goals are bound to happen for Racing.
So Racing Louisville goes on the road to Orlando, where the Pride are on a 2-match losing skid. Can they get this thing turned around, or does the expansion side have some magic in them in Central Florida? We kick it off when we come back. Orlando and Racing meeting here at Exploria Stadium in Orlando. Goalkeepers have taken their places, and we're closing in on kickoff between the Pride and Louisville. Mike Watts and Lisa Roman. The skies overhead are perhaps a tad concerning. We expect that the rain will hold off for now, although there were scattered thunderstorms in the forecast in Central Florida. Natalie Simon prepares to blow the whistle, and we're underway on this Friday night. It's the only game of the night in the NWSL, and it's only on Twitch, Orlando and Louisville. You know, Lisa, we spoke with both coaches in the lead up to this match, and when you talk to Mark Skinner about Louisville, these sides met a 2-2 draw in, well, for really both sides, their first ever Challenge Cup match. Conversation was they don't back down from anybody. They expect a full fight in this game. That's why they've been able to hang around the playoff line all year long as an expansion side.
But that's it. There's so much fight in this Louisville squad, and you have to give a lot of credit to head coach Christy Holly for not only the players he's drawn together in this expansion team, but also the values he's instilled with them. With a new team, is a new slate, a new foundation for Holly to lay down the mindset of work hard, give everything you have for your teammates on the field, and that's exactly what he's done. And it's shown as a ripple effect around the league that the other teams are aware of that.
All the while, Orlando this year has put out some tremendous results, but a couple losses in a row. It doesn't seem to have shaken Mark Skinner and his staff. If anything, the conversation that he had with us was that they felt they controlled more the tempo against North Carolina than they traditionally had, despite the scoreline.
That's exactly it. And for an Orlando team that went up against North Carolina with that box in the midfield, it's hard to do. You know you're going up against them, and frankly, Orlando did a nice job against them. I echo Mark Skinner's sentiments that his team did play well against North Carolina despite the 2-0 scoreline.
Bouncing back, Tony Presley turns away from Ebony Salmon. Did pick up a bit of a knock pregame, was examined on the field. Still will start, the 20-year-old. Just the third start in the NWSL, coming in from Bristol City toward Timrack. See Salmon capable of going here today. And, you know, it was a couple weeks ago, the conversations about Salmon trying to set up little bets around the office. If I can beat you to that cone, I get to start next week, coach. Well, has had the chance here to start a bit. Nadia Nadim will come as soon as her visa process is completed. Leads to a lot of options here.
It definitely does, and those little bets for Ebony Salmon around the office trying to get that start, it paid off for her. Her first start she scored a goal. I mean, nice stuff from her. She's come into this Louisville squad and definitely made an impact. Christy Holly's impressed with her, and Salmon has so much room to grow in this league and as a player, but one thing Christy Holly really wants to be careful of is not to take anything away from the game that she's already established within herself. Instead, just continue to add to it, continue to make her more fitter so she can not only be so good on the ball and in the attack, but also off the ball, getting behind the ball to press and put high pressure on opponents.
Stepped in on Presley and ships it out of play. It's a throw for Courtney Peterson. Second-year player, first-round pick out of Virginia. Taken away by Olafson. And back to Gemma Bonner, who came in questionable with a right leg injury.
It's definitely good to see Gemma Bonner in that back line for Louisville. Head coach Holly said that with her in the back line, it's a bit more organized. Their defensive shape, she brings a lot of leadership, and not only vocally, but in her positions. She does a really nice job of organizing Martin and Fox and Simon along that back line with her to stay compact as a unit and prevent opponents from trying to break through the center back gaps.
Comes to Nagasato, and Malay plays back with Timrak aimlessly into the press. Fox. Pushed back by Crystal Thomas.
Great job by Louisville to find that switch. As that ball came from the far side of the field to our near side, you could see Orlando trying to squeeze them in. And again, a huge switch from Louisville. Tremendous job switching the ball.
Kaiser pirouettes off the challenge, and this will get out. There's a throw here for the Orlando Pride, and the final Olympian set to depart from Orlando ahead of the Tokyo Olympics. Aaron McLeod, goalkeeper for Canada. Marta from Brazil. Alex Morgan from the U.S. have already left, and the New Zealand players are expected to leave in the coming days for the Tokyo Olympics. Wishing all four the best. I hope all four teams make the semifinal. I don't know if that's possible, but there you go.
Wishing the best for them, of course, but it's good to see these New Zealand players, the last ones sticking around the NWSL right now, getting one last game under their belt before they head off to international competition.
Good ball ahead from McCaskill, and this whipped across in pursuit of Kaiser. Riley will track this down with ease. Thomas. Run over by McCaskill.
A great ball in for Louisville, and CC Kaiser just waiting on that back post. A little too much on is dangerous, though. Not very often you don't see Harris coming out for a ball like that to jump onto it. A little more passive in her goaltending on that last cross.
Timrak, excellent. Jansdotter. Clip from behind. They say that was the ball. Play on. Injured player down behind for Louisville. And good positioning from Peterson to win that back. And Kaiser is back to her feet, but walking quite gingerly. Doherty Howard, one of many players who, from all the talent that's going to the Olympics for Orlando, and the fact you're still playing, you're still, what, second, 1 point off top of the table, could be top of the table come the end of the night. There's a lot of players where Mark Skinner's saying you're going to get a bigger opportunity than you'd otherwise get. We know what LaRue can do, but players like Doherty Howard who are new to this team, or some of the younger players too.
And Doherty Howard is a player that is going to see a lot of minutes over these next couple of weeks. She's slotted into that central midfield position and taken on her role as the defensive pivot player for Orlando Pride, and she's done a really nice job of holding right in front of the center backs, receiving the ball from one side, pivoting, opening up her hips, and trying to switch it to the other side.
Malay. Allie Krieger. You're gonna have to do better than that to beat Allie Krieger, that's for sure.
That is very true. Allie Krieger, center back with the ball now. I mean, lights out defender, and she has been for years. Head coach Christy Holly for Racing said that to get around Krieger is going to be difficult. They're not gonna try that.
Lobbed ahead for LaRue, and that's offside. Conversely, that's an area that Orlando thought they could exploit, that space that LaRue can run into in behind.
If Louisville continues to play a higher line defensively, they will be able to.
Doherty Howard. That's a good skip to LaRue, and now out to Thomas. Thomas collects, cross! Oh, it's just high. Timrak racing down the middle.
Great job by Orlando Pride. It's Doherty Howard trying to go wide, but it ends up at the feet of LaRue. Eventually finds Thomas, and then Erica Timrak with the late run out of the midfield, just floating around the top of the 6. Doesn't get a clinical strike on the ball to put it on frame though.
From that, however, a corner, it did deflect. And a lively Orlando crowd taking after the supporters section now. Peterson. Can Louisville run? Salmon's making the central run. Further by Malay. McCaskill. Ricochets back to Fox, and how quickly Orlando got back into a block is admirable in the scenario coming off a set piece.
Lots of yardage they had to cover, especially those forwards, and I'm specifically looking at someone like Taylor Korniak, who's tallest player on this Orlando squad. You want her in the box on that corner kick and then dropping all the way back behind the ball to cut off that Louisville through ball pass. Really impressive organizational defense from Orlando.
Well, Orlando's not going to be pleased with this. Malay got popped. It seemed like Orlando had Louisville pinned there. McCaskill turns away from Korniak. Fox. Again, Krieger's there. It's left a bit of a gap. Malay for Salmon and back beyond McCaskill. Olofsson. Room for Simon to explore. Nagasato, hounded by Doherty Howard. Kaiser, terrific. Rolls to Salmon, back out wide. Simon, this play already offside. Better from Louisville.
Much better ball movement from Racing Louisville as they got around their 18-yard box. I want CeCe Kaiser to be a bit more selfish when she's driving towards the top of the 18-yard box. She lays it off to Ebony Salmon, who looked surprised to receive the ball at her feet. Instead, plays it out wide. If CeCe Kaiser beats that first defender, why not rip a shot and have your teammates crash in on it?
Korniak fouled. And Tony Presley will go to work. Mark Skinner said, we know Tony Presley's tremendous qualities, now to show it during this Olympic break. LaRue drops back, chipped across for Thomas. And with Timrak charging in, it's cleared away by Bonner. Korniak helping to set that up.
Orlando's doing a nice job of having late runners, whether it be Korniak or Timrak coming out of the midfield, and then Doherty Howard arriving late to the party in the box, but getting those numbers up opportunities will only help Orlando as they get around their 18-yard box.
Visit NWSLshop.com to find your club's latest gear. Support your favorite NWSL club with the latest tees, sweatshirts, hats, novelties, and more. NWSLshop.com. Korniak. You gotten any of the trading cards yet?
I did. I got a pack last week.
Thomas.
As you can tell, I was very excited about it.
Justin Cohen, one of our producers here, bought many packs for many people.
I had a few fun ones in my pack. Commissioner Lisa Baird.
No,
a
that's
vintage
fun.
Christine Sinclair.
Vintage. Christine Sinclair transcends time. There is no such thing as vintage or future.
Hey, her card was vintage. A little frayed around the edges, a little worn down in the center.
Love it. Thomas. That'll deflect down. Timrak still. LaRue. Well, it's not a bad finish, but it was offside.
Heck of a finish from LaRue. It's a shame that one doesn't count, but she was offsides on the play, but just showing how dangerous she can be as she pops off the defender. And there's Erica Timrak sitting in that open gap between Louisville's back line and their midfield unit. That's where we'll see her a lot throughout this game.
Yeah, it was a shame that didn't count.
Ooh, it was pretty with the dip on the end of it.
Yeah, it looked better actually in slow motion. 4 goals for Sydney LaRue. Lynn Williams leads the way in the league with 5. Lynn Williams is named an alternate to the Olympic squad, but with the changes to the Olympic rosters, now a full-fledged member of the 22 as opposed to the 18. As a result, doors wide open here for some players to grab that golden boot. LaRue certainly top of the heap.
Yeah, LaRue is one of those players fighting for it. And tonight, her bread and butter is going to be sitting on the back shoulder of the likes of Martin and Bonner. Louisville now taking a page out of Orlando's book and trying to lock the Pride in this far left corner, their defensive end here. Holding really tight, trying to squeeze them in this tight space area.
Bounced over LaRue. Bonner. Part of the conversation about how do you handle road games, because some of the results for Louisville, frankly, were disheartening for Christy Holly's side. At North Carolina, at Portland, but they went to Chicago on such an odd weather day for sure, but got the result they had been waiting for. He said it's our DNA. We're still going to press on the road. We are seeing elements of that here against this high-powered Orlando side.
You mentioned being on the road, being at a place like Orlando where the humidity levels are extremely high. So for a team like Louisville to come in, it takes a bit of the game to adjust to the humidity and the breathing temperatures because the air is so thick and sticky to get used to that. So the high pressure is something that when we see it from Louisville, it'll come in waves for them tonight, but when they do it, they'll do it hard and with everything they've got.
That's a balmy 81 with 79% humidity at kickoff tonight.
Yeah, sticky, very sticky.
Brilliant. Korniak helping to move this thing along. Timrak short of Thomas. Malay hits the deck. Play on. Slashed out in front of LaRue.
We're seeing good looks and good creativity from Orlando's front 4 or 5 players, including that midfield unit, but it's tiny miscommunications on that one, like the pass coming in from Timrick. Was it going to LaRue, or was it trying to find Thomas and put more pace on the pass?
Fox getting a bit more aggressive getting forward, and again the offside flag comes up, this time Malay.
Lauren Malay, a player for this Louisville team that I've been having a lot of fun watching this regular season. Her work rate is really high. She does so well in the front three for Louisville. She gets end line and crosses the ball in. She dribbles laterally across the field, moving centrally. She's been really fun to watch this season. And now to just see if she can continue to grow her game.
I made the argument to you pregame. You could argue Malay might be the most instrumental piece to the way Louisville wants to play right now. Her boundless energy, willingness to press. What a scoop forward for Nagasato, just beyond her reach from McCaskill.
Great vision by McCaskill. And execution as well, just pass not received as smoothly from Nagasato.
LaRue steps in, and now trying to sprint in behind. Neely Martin had that under control. Bedos. Bonner on the ball now, one of the newcomers here for Louisville of late. Ebony Salmon and Nadia Nadim stand out as well. There's Salmon. Salmon pushing off of Krieger. Salmon! Ebony Salmon scores a peach of a goal, and Louisville leads on the road.
After almost giving the ball away, Louisville quickly regains possession and moves down the field in such great transition. A beautiful ball in from Kaiser to Salmon. Salmon using her forearm to create space from Krieger here. And Ashlyn Harris just caught on her heels as Salmon strikes this cleanly towards the back of the net.
This fairy tale just continues to grow for Ebony Salmon. Her side in Bristol relegated. Chance to come to the NWSL now. 3 goals from 250 minutes work. Player who, to give a bit of context on where she stands right now, came on for Rachel Daly for the English national team back in February. That was her debut for the national team. Riley Fox gets in there. And they're saying this is a foul from Riley. And this stadium that is seemingly orchestrated to pump up the crowd noise, bellowing.
As Riley drives towards the end line, Fox does a nice job of getting her body in the way. It doesn't really look like a foul to me at all. It looks like Fox just kind of tripped over the ball, unlucky for Riley.
Slide in there, Jan's daughter, away from Thomas, kept by Timrak. Orlando announced today the signing of Jody Taylor, whose rights they acquired over the offseason in a deal that included Carson Pickett. Taylor set to join the team soon enough. The announcement actually came after we spoke to Mark Skinner yesterday. Nagasato dances. There's also a couple of newcomers, Amy Turner, Kylie Strom. Turner debuted against North Carolina, played 10 minutes. Strom could debut for Orlando tonight, available on the bench. It sounded like Mark Skinner was looking to take his time in climatizing Strom to the Orlando area and its associated pitfalls. This will be with Louisville. But both these sides adding some pretty significant talent over this summer window from overseas to complement what they have, especially in the case of Orlando. For Louisville, trying to continue to build what they see as a really bright future. Rolled back to Martin, the rookie out of Alabama. LaRue drops back, Korniak. Korniak got a shot away, it ricochets back and cleared by Racing.
A good look from Orlando Pride when Sid LaRue gets a little bit of space with the ball at her feet. She starts dribbling at defenders 1v1. She is so dangerous and so intimidating.
Doherty Howard, to a certain extent as a fan, you almost naturally lean to the front of your seat when you see LaRue get on the ball with, like you said, a half space. That's a foul. Thomas brought down by Fox, who's already put plenty of grass stains on.
Great positioning here for Orlando.
This gives you a pretty multifaceted view of what you could do, right, from this position on the field.
It definitely does. I mean, a little bit of an angle towards the goal allows more freedom to put it on frame or float it towards the back post, allowing your teammates to run onto it.
Peterson or Doherty Howard. Peterson clips beyond LaRue.
I thought that was a great ball by Courtney Peterson, chipping it with her left foot so it had some curve going towards the goal. And LaRue just not there quick enough. Louisville holding a really high line on that set piece, doing a nice job to keep the legs of Sydney LaRue from getting too much of a step on them.
Fox rolling out for Malay. Louisville wants another to the back post beyond Kaiser, who scored last time these teams met.
A really dangerous ball from Malay coming from that far side. The second time we've seen a cross in like that, floating towards the back post, and Cece Kaiser almost there, just waiting for it. If the cross can be pulled out a little more right on the edge of the 6-yard box, Kaiser is able to time her run more and get a better shot and a better angle towards the goal mouth.
Fact checking the chat here on Twitch. There's an intimation that Louisville's humidity today is 95%. The Weather Channel says that is untrue. 59, it's a tad less soggy. McCaskill lines this forward.
We have now become meteorologists.
And that explains why I'm wrong so much. Fox. Yuki Nagasato to the feet of Olofsson. Louisville grabbed the opening goal. Ebony Salmon continues. Tremendous start in the league. 22nd minute. Riley steps in on Fox, puts it out for a corner.
Emily Fox, so dangerous for Louisville, coming out of that left back position all the way into the attacking end. It's her natural tendencies, head coach Christy Riley said. He doesn't coach her to do that, she just does that. So we play our system and our team around Emily Fox so that she has the ability and the freedom to move all the way into the attack, whether it's on the flank or towards the center of the field. Drawing this corner kick, that was all Emily Fox.
McCaskill. There's Fox once more. Olofsson came from an offside position.
Great step by the Pride's back line to quickly push out as soon as that ball is cleared. Give credit to Ashlyn Harris in goal for encouraging her back line to step forward and give Harris space. That way if a long ball is sent back into the box, Harris can easily grab it.
Exploria Stadium in Orlando. Louisville grabbed the opening goal here in the 22nd minute, looking for a second straight road victory. They beat Chicago a few weeks ago at SeatGeek Stadium. Well, Orlando shut out for just the first time all year against North Carolina, looking to get back. LaRue off target, back to their scoring and winning ways, which they explored so brilliantly early in the season.
Orlando Pride quickly getting on the attack there with Sid LaRue. She had space in front of her in time, almost too much space. Her shot not on frame, not on target. She kept her head up too long.
Salmon, Presley, right in her grill.
Great job, Presley. I mean, that's defending that the Orlando Pride needs to have against a player like Ebony Salmon. If you give Salmon space, she will turn and face up the defender, and that's way more dangerous. Presley doing a nice job of staying tight on Salmon and keeping Salmon's back towards the goal. And when she does try to turn, getting her foot in there and winning the throw-in.
Kaiser came up short of that. Ellie Krieger cleaning up. That was a good cultured touch by Fox. Get that wrong and Thomas can beat most with her pace. Stab back down to Fox.
Very impressive from Fox. 2 one-touch passes in a row. They're phenomenal. As hard as Orlando is trying to press Louisville to one side of the field, Louisville is doing such a nice job of remaining patient on the ball. When they come into a jam, just playing it back to Simon, Martin, Bonner in the back, and then switching it again, forcing Pride to shift their entire defensive shape from one side to the other side of the field. I mean, the patience from Louisville has really been impressive from the pressure that Orlando has put on them.
So if you're Orlando, then how do you force them to be impatient? How do you frustrate Louisville when they're in possession like that?
Keep doing it. Keep the press to one side and try not to let them switch the ball by passing it back. Instead, force the long diagonal pass from Louisville from one side of the field to the other.
Well, yellows come out here to Jan's daughter. Natalie Simon, who's covered a wide swath of leagues this year. Have a look.
Yeah, Jan's daughter just taking out Malay's legs. Ball really nowhere in sight.
And Jan's daughter picks up a yellow. That's the second of the year for Jan's daughter. Still far away from any yellow card accumulation concerns. Riley, aren't those famous last words? 3 games from now, we're going to be talking about Jan's daughter being suspended for yellow card accumulation. I know it.
You better knock on wood, Mike.
Nagasato. That's behind Salmon. Krieger starts the other way. Korniak. Louisville's got one shot in this game. It's Golden. Bouncing forward for Malay. Cut back for Kaiser.
Kaiser, the only white jersey in the box on that cross from Malay.
Good effort keeps this alive. Watch out for Nagasato. Rolls that through. Fox. Well, it's going the other way. Riley got clipped.
Riley and Fox paired up against each other and going at it throughout this first half. Little slip through ball from Nagasato, and Fox just getting the heel of Riley.
Riley, 135 caps for New Zealand. And headed off to Tokyo soon enough. Ball in front for Kaiser. Riley stepped out in front of that and blocked it. Major stop in the back for Orlando. Came to Fox. The attempted hold-up play failed, but still now out to McCaskill. Ooh, McCaskill around Thomas. That's a yellow. Referee's gesturing toward her neck a bit in issuing that yellow.
As McCaskill receives the ball, she tries to meg Thomas there. And her left arm wrapping around the shoulder and the neck of Thomas. Second yellow card in 2 games for McCaskill.
Immediately a wave toward the sideline here. As, get eyes on what happened here. Stoppage here, and you can see a lot of labored breath at this stage. Korniak is being attended to by the athletic trainer. We're looking for 22 in black and purple. Coming toward the halfway line there. Just appeared to have Fox perhaps get over top and bang down on top of her.
Korniak almost sandwiched between the 2 Louisville players going up for the header.
All the while, Orlando standing strong defensively a moment ago. Salmon, could you ask for a better ball than that?
A beautiful ball in, trying to find CeCe Kaiser, but Allie Riley, defensive play of the game so far. Incredible job by her. Great positioning. She got her foot in the way to stop the ball and stop the play.
Korniak helped off here. About a player who could really explode onto the scene during this Olympic run. Has really been coached up by Sydney Leroux, we've been told, in training and in drills, and those two have struck up a good mentor-mentee relationship on the field. Korniak, just year 2, 3rd overall pick a year ago, and then went to Germany instead of the fall series. No Challenge Cup for Orlando. So really, we're just starting to get a taste of what Korniak can bring to the equation.
And with a mentor like Sydney Leroux, I mean, Korniak has so much to learn from her, and she's already taken strides to be better because Korniak's so tall. She's very good in the air, and she has been consistently throughout her soccer career. And now it's receiving the ball at her feet, trying to hold up play, not just flicking the ball on with her head, but instead finding her teammates and being creative with Sydney Leroux to get in and around and behind defenders.
Presley for Peterson and further for Timrak. Orlando running with speed, that's quickly broken up and now held by Salmon. Nagasato is able to maintain possession. Fox.
Telepathic pass from Fox as Malay made that slow diagonal run from the center of the field. Not enough pace on the ball from Fox, and she made it very obvious she was going down the line with that ball.
Less than 5 minutes left before first half stoppage time here in Orlando. Cleared as far as Korniak. Will recover again from Thomas. Seeking out Timrak. Kept now by Jansdotter with the help of Doherty Howard. Riley caroms off of Kaiser.
Orlando looking for the late equalizer in this half before they head into the locker room. Now might be their opportunity. They've looked so good on the transition.
Timrak, free kick. It is outside the penalty area. You want to talk about a sandwich earlier. Neely Martin was among the Louisville players who were all around Timrak. And there's an immediately a call from the referee to bring the athletic trainer out. Timrak's already back up. Martin seems shaken up as well.
As Timrak makes this run across the front of the box, she gets sandwiched between McCaskill and Martin. And if you look at Martin, it looks like Timrak's knee goes into her stomach. That's why Martin catching her breath.
Well, Timrak has to come off. The referee called on the athletic trainer. No card was issued. So she'll need to be allowed back on. All the while, Korniak can hit with precision and can hit with power. And yes, it's time to pull out your phone. In the background, people know this might be the kind of moment you pay for seats right behind the goal for. Prefer one side or the other from this angle?
I want Korniak to go up and over the wall, top right corner.
Korniak around the wall and just wide. Sneaky, sneaky from Korniak.
You knew she was going to the right side of the goal, the way she lined up over the ball with her right foot. She tries to curl it around the right side of the wall. She finds the side netting, but it looked like Betos had that near post covered.
Which, to be fair, has been the MO of Michelle Betos all season. Timrak ushered back onto the field now. Not a bad look at all from Korniak.
Not a bad look at all by any means. Using the instep of her foot, it's really hard to curl that ball just 10 yards out from where the wall is and then have it curl all the way back in towards that near post.
Doherty Howard wanted this played, does get it, given back by Martin. Rolled out to Thomas. Ball over LaRue, bounces ahead. Jansdotter, black and purple filling the box, lofted ahead once more for LaRue. Salmon with a bit of malaise. Louisville will be able to start the other way. And in stepped Krieger, silencing the Louisville counter. Final minute of the first half before stoppage. Coming up at halftime, Lisa and I want to tell you about all the great action that's coming up this weekend. All 10 teams are playing, one game today, one tomorrow, 3 on Sunday. So Lisa will give you the primer.
It's a packed weekend. I mean, we have the primetime one tonight. Happy to be here, but these teams fighting for a place in the standings as this regular season moves towards the middle point of the season.
And truth of the matter, where the standings are today will look almost foreign compared to what they're going to look like come Sunday night. Seeing eyeball through. And then what's coming up Monday? Is there a podcast debuting?
Attacking Third for CBS Sports. First episode drops on Monday. I'll break down all 10 teams for you, Mike.
Yeah, I love to see it. 3 added minutes here. You were just telling me about some of the plans you have in mind for that podcast, and don't mind if I do subscribe. Attacking Third podcast from CBS Sports. Our own Lisa Roman, Sandra Herrera, and a cavalcade of guests.
Oh yes, a rotating crew coming in with us.
You'll love to see it. To be fair, Lisa was telling me about her upcoming plans for the summer, which is wake up at 4, watch the Olympics, make it to the end of the night to make sure she doesn't miss NWSL After Dark. This leaves time for sporadic naps. Jan's daughter goes to ground here for Orlando a minute into first half stoppage.
If my summer looks like soccer and naps, I'll take it.
I know.
I'll take not sleeping through the night if I get to watch some fun Olympic games early in the morning.
The U.S. are just now 12 days away from opening up their pursuit of a gold medal against Sweden. You mentioned Ali Riley here. What a matchup to start the Olympic Games for New Zealand. Australia from Tokyo in 12 days' time. McCaskill leading the charge here for Racing Louisville. McCaskill's gonna go for goal. Harris paid it no mind. Knew that was off frame all along.
Impressive feat from Savannah McCaskill. She wins this ball deep in the defensive end for Louisville. She gets her eyes set on the attacking end of the field, and she makes her way there. Not cleanly struck ball, though.
The referee here is bringing play back. Intriguingly, I suppose. Perhaps an inadvertent whistle. You saw Christy Holly had a bone to pick somewhere. In steps Timrak. Surely the final attack of the first half, no matter how it ends. And it ends right there. Orlando Pride concede in the 21st minute. Ebony Salmon continues to pile up goals for Racing Louisville, and Louisville leads at the half.
Incredible transition play from Louisville. That's how they got their goal, from Ebony Salmon, and the player we talked a little bit about, Mike, during that first half. Salmon, she knows how to score the ball. She knows what to do with it at her feet, and she proved that throughout this first half.
Coming up at halftime, we'll tell you about the week ahead in the NWSL, and it's very busy the next 2 nights. And we'll also peek back at first half highlights. 0 shots on target for Orlando in the first half, Racing a perfect 1. Back after this. Welcome back to the NWSL this Friday night, the lone standing contest from Exploria Stadium. Halftime between Orlando and Louisville. Mike Watts, Lisa Roman back with you here exclusively on Twitch. Lisa, let's take a look at what's a very busy weekend upcoming in the National Women's Soccer League. Tomorrow, only one game, Washington and North Carolina from Audi Field.
North Carolina looking to continue their winning streak. They made it to the top of the standings last week and up against a very hard-working Washington Spirit squad looking to get out of the middle of the pack for this standing group. 4 straight wins for North Carolina, though. I mean, this matchup is going to be huge for the Spirit. Can they hold off the Courage and that box midfield?
A lot of fun in the Mid-Atlantic. That's Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Remember the Challenge Cup? Those were the days. Yes, it is a rematch of sorts. We're missing some of the big names from this rivalry, but still fun nonetheless.
So much fun still to be had between these two squads. Gotham only 3 goals against so far in this regular season. How impressive. And Portland, they've scored 14 goals, so that'll be a big battle if Portland can get on the board and if Gotham can hold them off.
The Chicago Red Stars are taking on Houston from SeatGeek Stadium. That's Sunday at 6 Eastern Time. Chicago is right now below the playoff line.
They are, but these two teams have already faced off during this regular season. Houston taking that win 2-1. A goal coming from Mal Pugh in that game. We're seeing Pugh hitting her stride throughout this regular season. So it's a chance for Chicago to get 3 points and jump up the standings.
And then we see the star-studded OL Reign take on winless Kansas City on Sunday. Is this KC's night?
It may very well be Kansas City's night. Remember, they have Amy Rodriguez, who scored 4 goals this year, and La Roquette, who's hitting her stride. She had the tying goal last week for KC, and there's Amy Rodriguez, who does know how to score goals. So OL Reign staying in top of this one. It should be a good one, Mike. I mean, a full-packed weekend ahead of us.
Yeah, that is a misnomer of a 9 versus 10 game to close out the weekend here in the NWSL. We still have another half here tonight before we get to the other 4. We've gotten to the scenic sunshine portion of the viewing experience. Get your best beverage, find your way into Exploria Stadium or wherever you are here live on Twitch for Louisville and Orlando. 1-0 to Racing at halftime. Mike Watson, Lisa Roman. Let's dig into the highlights. We begin in the 10th minute of play. Thomas starts this up for Orlando. There's a few options here, but Timrak, that took a deflection.
One of the few offensive attacks we saw from Orlando Pride during that first half coming from Timrak, but it was Louisville that was off to the races first and early. The beautiful ball in from Cece Kaiser, finding the feet of Ebony Salmon, who is calm, cool, and composed on top of the ball, fighting against Krieger. She creates space for herself, and then using the instep of her right foot, finds the back of the net. A beautiful job by Salmon.
And we're running out of puns related to fish. Meanwhile, minutes before halftime, not a bad look from Korniak.
Incredible look from Korniak, just not enough curl on it to go inside that near post. She didn't go over the wall, she tried to go around it.
Here are the halftime stats for Orlando. I can boil it down to 0 shots on goal.
Not the best look from Orlando Pride in that first half. They're getting near their goal. They're getting in and around their 18. They're getting crosses in, but nothing clinical enough to put it on frame and make Michelle Betos in goal work. And for Louisville, they got one on the board. They've done their job throughout that first half. Can they keep it up in the second half, get a second one, have a little bit of cushion, a little bit of insurance heading into the end of this match?
And 15 fouls as well. It's been physical here in Orlando. It's Racing Louisville with the advantage here. A win puts them above the playoff line. The second half when we return exclusively on Twitch. Approaching the beginning of the second half from Exploria Stadium in Orlando. The Pride trail racing Louisville as Orlando tries to maintain the lead they've taken above the playoff line in a very busy weekend that could see some major tectonic shifts. Orlando trying to get this offense right, Lisa, and with Korniak and LaRue, a lot of it will fall on them.
It does fall on them, and getting them the ball, whether it comes from crosses in, from Thomas and Timrak from the outsides, or long balls over the top, or perhaps Korniak drops in front of Louisville's back line, flicks the ball onto LaRue. I mean, I'm just drawing up plays here, Mike, but I think it would work for them.
Into the second half we go. No changes here at halftime. I want to know if Mark Skinner's got an extra spot on the bench. Throw you right there. Let's do this.
I mean, I'll take a whiteboard, baby, just so they can see what I'm talking about. But if Korniak drops just a little bit and sits right in front of Louisville's back line and can receive the ball at her feet, lay it off to Timrak or Jordy Hauer underneath of her, with then Sid LaRue spinning off Louisville's back line and back shoulder without being offside, it looks like a straight shot towards goal, and just one more line to break with Michelle Betos.
Orlando opens in possession, firmly so. Krieger. Orlando shut out for the first time against North Carolina last time out. LaRue bounces in, back by Bonner, and Betos sends away. Last goal for Orlando was a 49th minute goal by Gunny Jonsdottir against Houston, so we're approaching 175 plus minutes without a goal for Orlando at this stage.
Orlando has been so impressive with their attack throughout this regular season, scoring in every game except the last one, and now so far throughout this one, but to have that many goals for 12 for Mark Skinner and his squad.
Conversely, that's the number of goals allowed by Louisville this year. And yet, here they are trying to pitch a shutout against one of the league's elite offenses, whether they have all of their top shelf talent or not.
Well, that's truly the beauty of this league. Anything can happen on any given day, and a win tonight gives Louisville 3 points, and they jump the standings.
I mentioned it during the Challenge Cup. These two organizations actually have a very intriguing background. Racing Louisville was preceded by 6 years of Louisville City. That franchise in and of itself was the moved USL championship franchise from Orlando back before Orlando City went to MLS. Foul here with Olofsson getting shoved to ground. So the purple colors that Louisville has become known for, in the case of Racing Louisville, more of a lavender, are actually in relation to the colors that Orlando, in the previous franchise's existence, had when it moved to Louisville on the men's side. Small world.
The more you know.
Nagasato pushed down by Korniak.
Second foul in the span of just a minute for Taylor Korniak.
Simon, the referee.
Timrak comes in there, and then Korniak getting the shove from behind on the foul. Double foul there almost for Orlando. Official calling the second one.
It'll be McCaskill. This bounces down, turned by Olofsson and cleared by Orlando. Still more here. Nagasato, taken by Timrak. Rolls by McCaskill, and still Louisville applying some pressure here in the 50th minute. Salmon, Riley.
Finally a chance for Orlando to reset after Louisville putting so much pressure on them. A few miscommunication plays on that long ball in that set piece from Louisville. On the clearance initially from Krieger and Presley, miscommunication, neither of them going towards the ball and just sending it out of bounds. Eventually Sid LaRue does it.
Well done by Peterson.
Peterson left alone on an island with the ball, no one to pass to.
So it's Malay sprinting, crossing. It's beyond Kaiser.
Lauren Malay quick up this near flank, putting in a lot of miles up and down this soccer pitch tonight and getting a lot of good crosses in, trying to find Cece Kaiser on that back post.
It's been intriguing watching Cece Kaiser's role change from that out-and-out number 9, admittedly not her strongest position, into more of a 7-11 kind of role that they viewed her as a better fit for, and what she played a bit more in Houston.
The 7-11 for Cece Kaiser is a much better suited role for the type of player she is. She can run up and down the field. She can track back defensively because she is so well on both sides of the ball, getting in behind it, and then also the ball at her feet, dribbling in and sending crosses in. Having her on the width of the field allows so much more versatility for Louisville's attack.
Timrak turns and burns by McCaskill. Wonderful for LaRue, but in steps Simon. LaRue following that all the way. LaRue's come to play in this second half.
The combination play from Timrak in the midfield to find LaRue, making diagonal run and losing her defender, and give a lot of credit to Erin Simon for sticking with a really quick and fast, strong Sid LaRue.
Malay. Ball coming from Peterson. Malay acquired from North Carolina. Went from, by Paul Riley's estimation, our 24th player on the roster to a starter with consistency a year ago. Penny for Maggie Doherty Howard's thoughts.
She got her head up after dribbling through so much space, and no one in purple. She had no friends around. They all ran away from her. A reoccurring theme throughout this second half so far, not even 10 minutes in, and players in the midfield being left to their own devices.
Betos. Orlando just trying to lay a glove on Betos at this point. 20 saves clear of anyone else in the league, but Betos has kept a clean shirt and a clean sheet so far, hasn't had to do any work at all.
And for sure, having Gemma Bonner in front of Betos tonight in that center back position takes a little bit of the pressure off Betos' shoulders.
You know, we often sit in our production meetings and discuss who we want to highlight pregame. We go, well, you know, sometimes it's too simple to talk about the goalkeepers. But the two coming into this game have played so extraordinarily of late, it was almost impossible to ignore. And it really hasn't been a game that has challenged either all that much to this point.
That's it. I mean, neither team is testing the opponent's goalkeepers. So on paper, Yeah, Michelle Betos is doing great. Ashlyn Harris doing pretty good tonight, but they haven't truly been tested. It's been a battle between the 18s.
Mike Watts, Lisa Roman live on Twitch. Hopefully you're enjoying from the U.S. and around the world. And taking part in the stream chat too, we hope. You get a fully immersive experience here. Simon, got by the outstretched leg of Jan's daughter. Laid ahead, and Peterson arrived in the nick of time.
Caskell just waiting on that right shoulder of Peterson for that ball to come in. Holding up her run so as to not be offside.
I've come away really impressed by Peterson tonight.
Peterson has been fantastic, and she's not known for her 1v1 defending skills. Instead, she's known for her speed on the ball, getting up the flank, joining into the attack, but she's done a fantastic job against Malay, a player for Louisville who's so quick with her feet and can easily dodge around defenders, and Peterson just facing up against Malay and keeping her footing. Louisville right now is stretching out Orlando. The farther back they go, the more Orlando pushes forward with Sid LaRue and Korniak and Timrak, allowing...
Salmon had gotten into an offside position, and Malay to sneak that through the line.
But those are the holes that Louisville had opened up by playing the ball so far back into their defensive end. The holes for Ebony Salmon and Malay and Nagasato up top to pop into those pockets and then quickly move the ball down the field.
Presley tries to reset to Allie Krieger, who is questionable coming in with an ankle injury. Marta, Morgan, Aaron McLeod, Phoebe McClernand, Marissa Vigiano, Jade Moore, all unavailable on the night. Orlando certainly nicked up as the Olympic stretch begins in the NWSL. Louisville, on the other hand, simply waiting for the inclusion of Nadia Nadim to complete their roster for the time being. No Addison Merrick this evening, but return Bonner, Kaiser, and Olafson off the injury list. And in the 58th minute, they do hold a lead. 21st minute goal from Ebony Salmon.
For Orlando, they knew the Olympics were coming up. They knew that they'd be losing players like Marta, McLeod, Morgan for international duty. And they did the work at the front half of this season, getting into first place, sticking to the top of the table. So now they have a game or two to adjust with the missing players, and now to bring in players off the bench who've been waiting in the flanks for their time to shine and their moment to get game minutes, not just starts, but full games under their belt throughout this next stretch where those big-time stars are gone for the Olympics, but so much room for other players to come in.
Well, a change here for Orlando. You see the end of the night for Tony Presley.
Ladies and gentlemen, substitution for the Orlando Pride at the 54th minute. Leading the game is number 3, Tony Presley.
Seems like a bit of a cool reception on both sides there for Presley and the bench. Amy Turner comes on, second appearance since coming over from Manchester United. Good work by LaRue. Louisville is starting to prepare subs as well. A weaving run and a foul. It comes from Bonner.
Not what we usually see from Bonner, but for Orlando Pride, looking good for them as they move down the pitch into better positioning to try to even out this scoreline.
Maggie Doherty-Howard. That appeared to be off the training ground. Thomas collides in. Timrak wants the return, deflects around. Salmon as far as Peterson. The referee is bringing play all the way back here. Ashlyn Harris is wondering why as well. Bouncing between three, including LaRue. Cleared by Louisville. Peterson. Timrak. Simon.
Timrak fighting through the back of Simon. That foul called on Timrak.
Ladies and gentlemen, substitution.
Two changes here for Racing Louisville. Julia Ashley will replace Aaron Simon in the back. Fifth appearance for Ashley, all off the bench. Should get about 98 minutes on the season if she sees this out. Mina Ekic will replace Lauren Millay in midfield.
Also leading the game for Louisville, number 2, Lauren Millay. She's replaced by number 13.
Incredible game by Lauren Millay. Put in a lot of miles and a lot of effort up and down this flank, getting crosses into the box. Not a part of the goal that we saw from Ebony Salmon and Cece Kaiser with the assist for Salmon, but Millay, an impact player for this Louisville team. She definitely has a bright future ahead of her at Racing.
Salmon to a sweeping McCaskill. Got cleaned out by Korniak. Now Timrak is fouled.
Julia Ashley stepping onto the field and already getting a bit more instruction. There can be a learning curve for players, especially with a new team, trying to understand how they're trying to play and positionally on the field.
Ball through. Ekic chasing still. If you thought getting Millay off the field and getting into the Louisville bench was going to give Courtney Peterson a breather, you appear to have been mistaken.
No breaks for Courtney Peterson tonight with Ekic stepping on in place of Malay. Ekic just such a workhorse.
Riley with her head up. Thomas. Just cut away from LaRue. Pass was off the mark.
Yeah, almost lazy passing and lazy playing between Thomas and LaRue. They look tired out there, not moving to the ball, not shuffling to collect that pass.
Orlando trying to avoid what would be a third straight defeat. That'd be the 7th time in franchise history they've lost 3 or more games in a row. Only Washington, who've had it happen 8 times in the past 5 years, can lay claim to more 3-game-plus losing streaks. And when you think back to Orlando when they were top of the table and top of the world 2 weeks ago, before they had been defeated, Mark Skinner was the first to raise his hand and say, there's a long way to go. He wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid just yet, or the Capri Sun as it might be. LaRue. Ahead now for Timrak. Timrak back across, is seeking out Jonsdottir, and this gets out over the line. Corner.
Timrak's been making diagonal runs across Louisville's back line all night, and this time Doherty Howard finds LaRue, and LaRue the little slip pass to Timrak. She gets the cross off, but not enough mustard on the pass into the box.
Orlando felt set pieces were going to be enormous in this game. Can they capitalize? Peterson out toward LaRue. Strong-willed header into space, and Kaiser circumnavigates the pack and turns on the burner. Kaiser, Salmon, McCaskill. Ekic goes over top of, I believe that's Jonsdottir, who remains down. May have taken a cleat to the face. Referee has stopped play as Ekic went over the top of Jonsdottir, may have inadvertently dragged a cleat up by the head.
This play starting for Louisville in a transition and then a switch of the play. You see Ekic as Jonsdottir slides in and gets complete ball. Ekic goes over the top of Jonsdottir, and Ekic's foot finding Jonsdottir's face.
So Timrak comes off. Chelsea Washington in her stead.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Abby Kim has come on as well.
Leading the game is number 15, Erica Timrak. He is replaced by number 27, Chelsea Washington. Also for Orlando Pride, leading the game, number 31, Crystal
Thomas. The other change. Saw 3 on the board, and I'm thinking Presley already, okay.
We figured it out.
We did. So the third change in the second window for Orlando now. Turner, Washington, and Kim have come on. Salmon. Head snapped back in frustration. From Orlando, the Pride looking to get back onto the winning side of the ledger. may be upset here tonight. Louisville grabbed a goal in the 21st minute and have not looked back. McCaskill cleared by Krieger, recovered by Kim. Finds McCaskill once more. At this stage, Lisa, what are you looking for from Orlando with 20 minutes to go to help them end a now over 200-minute streak without a goal?
Well, Orlando needs to get on the board, and Mark Skinner knows that. He's putting in some fresh legs with Washington up top.
Salmon and Turner not making friends here.
Not at all. Turner hit the deck and immediately tried to be in Salmon's face. But for Orlando, having new legs on with Kim up top and Washington in the midfield, it provides a little bit of a different look for Washington. She can hold the ball in the midfield and allow runs off of her, so perhaps we'll see Jonsdottir moving more into the attack as Washington holds up the ball in that attacking end. And then Kim, some fresh legs across the top line for this Orlando Pride team. She's watched the first and second half of this game. She understands where the spaces are.
Nagasato. Space broke down. McCaskill lifting. Bouncing in behind. Kaiser. Flag had come up late.
Cece Kaiser has been so close on 3 or 4 chances throughout this game. Whether it's crosses coming in and she's late to the run, or on something like that, just a hair offside.
For what it's worth, Ebony Salmon and Amy Turner, who just collided moments ago, did play twice against each other in the English First Division this past season. Man United beat Bristol City 1-0 and 6-1. The only goal scored by Bristol City in that series, Ebony Salmon. Tobin Heath bagged a pair, Leah Galton had 2 as well. Attack on here for Orlando. Kim. Punched away, Eckett slides, free kick, Orlando. And a yellow card as well.
Impressive run out of the midfield for Maggie Doherty-Howard as she shakes that one off. It's toe poked out by Louisville. Doherty-Howard gets there first. Eckich trying to get her toe in there to get onto the ball. Doherty-Howard just flipping over Eckich's leg. And now this, an opportunity for Orlando Pride.
Where traditionally you might have Marta. Korniak.
Ladies and gentlemen, the yellow card has been issued to Louisville. Number 13, Alina Eckich, in the 73rd minute.
Peterson trying to work with Washington. There's McCaskill. Even a point tonight for Orlando carries with it the opportunity to draw level, top the table with North Carolina. Side that came so disappointed off their 2-0 loss to North Carolina last time out, looking for more sharpness in the final third, better service. It's eluded them again so far tonight. Ashley LaRue. LaRue still.
The tenacity, the perseverance of LaRue is impressive to watch. She doesn't get the initial ball, ends up winning it at her feet. After she gets taken down, she's immediately back up. Good defending by Ashley to keep the ball moving, and then Sid LaRue again gets beat, still working hard to get the ball back. That's a player that is looking for a point right now, looking for a goal. She's hungry to find the back of the net. If Orlando can feed Sydney LaRue through Louisville's back line, she will be lethal.
Conversely, Louisville's goal coming into this game is to keep LaRue and Korniak off the ball, and so far they've done it pretty effectively. Still plenty of time left, and LaRue won't go quietly into the night, although that diagonal snagged in front of Riley, and it's Fox. Stridently forward, Salmon. Fox going end to end, cuts this back and toward the penalty spot with a deflection. It got behind Nagasato. And this game is stretched wide open off the head of Korniak. Betos has it under control.
End to end to end for both of these teams. Both trying to catch their opponents in the quick counterattack by switching the field from one side to the other and then moving quickly while their opponent is out of shape. Louisville almost got beat on their own game.
Ashley. Jan's daughter. So get out. 2 changes coming for racing. They've made 2 changes thus far. So subs 3 and 4. Cece Kaiser and Ebony Salmon are coming off.
Ladies and gentlemen, substitution for Louisville in the 70th
Shayna
minute.
Matthews
Leading the game is number 5.
step in up front.
Kaiser is replaced by number 20.
And Ebony Salmon grabs goal number 3, the 21st minute. She did a lot of work on her own here.
She definitely did. The through ball from Kaiser and Salmon, creating space for herself, being calm on the ball, understanding she has Allie Krieger as a defender on her and Ashlyn Harris to get past, and that's no sweat for Salmon.
And let's say this, about half an hour before this game began, was being attended to by an athletic trainer, sat on the bench for a few minutes, went back into warm-ups. It was a brief question, perhaps, as this rolled ahead toward LaRue. Salmon's availability. Chrissy Alley's been so notable about his precaution. Ball across for LaRue. LaRue over the top and wide.
Good thing for Louisville that Ebony Salmon able to shake off that pregame injury. And as this ball comes in for the Pride, Sid LaRue just trying to get something on top of it. Any ball that is lofted towards LaRue at this point in the game will be contested for by LaRue.
Her desire in this game, you can feel it through the screen.
You definitely can. She wants this for her team. Even just 1 point right now for Orlando would do wonders for them in the standings, just getting them back to the top.
Korniak gives chase.
And Mike, when you see a player like Sydney Leroux, who's been fighting and playing her heart out throughout this entire match, her teammates around her see that energy and that tenacity that she has on the field, and they raise their own level.
Matthews denied the end line by Krieger, fighting through Kim. Visit NWSLshop.com to find your club's latest gear. Support your favorite NWSL club with the latest tees, sweatshirts, hats, novelties, and more. NWSLshop.com. It's the space kits tonight for Orlando. Always in style. The tug in from behind by Kim.
Kim trying to dance around the defender. Kim has so much speed, but if she can't get in stride and defender does exactly what they should do, get themselves between Kim and the ball, and Kim doesn't stand a chance.
Montez may have overcooked that a bit, but it is to racing's benefit. Do you feel like you've learned anything about racing Louisville from this 80 minutes? This is as composed a road performance as we've seen from them yet.
A full, complete game is really what we're seeing from Louisville, from start to finish, not getting frustrated after 20 minutes when they haven't broken down a team or they haven't scored every time they get into their attacking end. It's honestly a more mature team than we've seen from Louisville, and a lot of credit goes to Christy Holly for sticking with his squad and all the young players with not a lot of experience.
Ooh. That's well handled. I suppose if you've got Harris, you can afford to do that, but Turner living dangerously, and perhaps they've pulled Louisville a bit out of their shell in the process. I don't care if Davinia's on the goal line. I'm not playing a flighted ball back to my goalkeeper. Ball sliced through by Riley. We get a second look. Floats, Leroux, header, Betos. And Betos will scoop this up, looking for her league-leading 5th shutout.
Orlando knocking on the door here with this lofted ball coming in, and Leroux getting a piece of it, but that's all it is, just a piece as the ball skims off her head. It's an easy collection for Michelle Betos.
Free kick for Louisville. McCaskill pays the price once more. Expected goals are a way of trying to describe the value of scoring chances for and against your side. Racing Louisville has theoretically conceded over 20 expected goals this year. On the field, they've allowed just a dozen. Point being, Michelle Betos and perhaps a lack of finishing by the opposition have made Louisville a far sturdier defense than statistically one would imagine based on the quality of chances created. Only Gotham is in the same neck of the woods in terms of that difference between expected goals allowed and actual goals allowed. But Gotham's only given up 3. This has been a Louisville defense that Michelle Betos has found a way to make substantially better statistically than one would have anticipated. They're trying to get this shutout with 6 minutes to go that would secure a spot tied for 4th, safely above the playoff line for the weekend.
Remember, Mike, this is only the first game of the weekend. All 10 teams face off against each other. 1 game tomorrow, Saturday evening, and then 3 on Sunday. So come Sunday evening, Monday morning, the standings will look very different.
Matthews, see the upcoming games around the league, rotating. Can Kansas City find their first win? Chicago get back to more winning ways. Change here with 5 minutes remaining. Tanya Plummer will come on for Maggie Doherty Howard.
Maggie Doherty Howard.
And Strom for Peterson.
Also for the Orlando Pride,
And Korniak remains down. So that's the full 5 subs for Orlando, and the 5th change for Louisville is coming as well. Kaylee Reel try and help see this out, but Reel awaits on the touchline. And will take over for Yuki Nagasato, so likely Louisville into a back 5.
That's what I would do with Kaylee Reel, who is such a defensive force to be reckoned with, especially on this Louisville team. Sliding her in there, she'll sit back and hold, sliding into that center back position.
Athletic trainer hard at work here. Challenge Cup meeting between these two sides certainly suggest that this match is far from over. Wild late Brooke Hendricks game-tying goal off a set piece on opening night for the NWSL at Lynn Family Stadium. Christy Holly, last time he was here, 5-0 loser with Gotham. In his previous head coaching stint, it was just days before he stepped down. Attack is on here for Matthews. Ekic making the central run, but it's Matthews sending this off frame. Korniak is returned to the field for Orlando.
Good to see Korniak after being taken care of by the trainers, and taking a look back at that Matthews run down the far sideline for Louisville. She has energy in her. And these players that are coming off the bench for both squads, they're still looking to make a name for themselves. There are opening starting positions across the league that players are fighting for. This is their chance now to get some game minutes, show their confidence, show their ability to their coaches and their versatility, what they can add to their squads on the field.
Cleared by Ashley. What can they add to this team? What could they add to an Angel City or a San Diego? Something on the line, individually and collectively here in the dying minutes. Jan's daughter pursuing Fox. Mission accomplished by Emily Fox, who has been magnificent much of the night.
Emily Fox has done a tremendous job joining into the attack, giving Louisville numbers up opportunities when they get in and around their box. And this time, drawing a corner kick, keeping the ball for her team, not just stalling, but also winning it back for them off a set piece.
What a fearsome duo it is to see in the corner when you're trying to win the ball away. McCaskill and Matthews. It'll stay with Louisville for a throw into the 90th minute now.
For Louisville, their organization throughout this 90-minute game has been very impressive to see. They've done a nice job getting behind the ball as soon as they lose it, putting a lot of pressure on Orlando to not go long and find Sydney Leroux in and over the top in the transition. This Louisville team is truly coming together, playing a full game. If this is what the future holds for Louisville, it is very bright.
It's a future that we'll see Washington come to town on the 25th. So a little time off here and then away to OL Reign, host Kansas City, away to Gotham by the middle of August. They'll host the Women's Cup in Lynn Family Stadium as well. Putting up some major international competition alongside the Red Stars, protecting the NWSL's name in the global game. 5 added minutes. Finally, the infuriating attempt to get the ball back for Orlando is satisfied.
Louisville doing a tremendous job to frustrate Orlando. Not only frustrate them, but run out a lot of the clock, a few minutes shaved off.
Kim motoring forward. Will bounce back to Krieger. Turner.
It's not a bad idea from Amy Turner coming out of the back line to play that long ball over the top. And you have players like Leroux and Korniak, Kim, and Washington chasing it down. At this point in the game, that's what Orlando has now. That's all they have, to play those long balls and see if Sydney Leroux can make some magic happen.
Held up well by Plummer. To the feet of Leroux. Support down the left-hand side. Strom drives. Cleared. Further now. Sending McCaskill sprinting against Krieger. Driven up by Turner. Approaching the midway point of stoppage time. And still it feels Orlando is no closer to an equalizer. Matthews and Riley. Not a lot in that from Matthews, but enough. It forced Riley to stumble over.
Orlando throwing what resources they have forward.
To your point, Amy, Turner is inching back to the center circle as a result. Ashlyn Harris. A bit of soccer tennis. Harris delivers. Over Korniak, all the way through Leroux! Sydney Leroux is broken through now! 100 seconds to go and Orlando level! And she's tied for the league scoring lead.
All it took was a little bit of Sydney Leroux magic for the Orlando Pride. Ashlyn Harris with a beautiful ball in and over the top. And Leroux sitting on the back shoulder of Ashley, waiting for the ball to bounce through. Calm, cool, and composed, she finds the side netting.
5th of the year. Level now with Lynn Williams atop the league scoring leaderboard. Ashlyn Harris, a magnificent second ball in, the assist. This result would see Orlando level with North Carolina, first place in the NWSL. "30 seconds to go now. Christy Holly is trying to push the team forward. Bounces down. Matthews trying to get by Krieger, and did so overzealously. And Orlando wants a winner. Riley pushing everybody forward. Jonsdottir down the line for Plummer. And the full-time whistle. Orlando steals a point at the end. And Sydney Leroux, simply out of gas, gave every bit that she had and comes up with the late equalizing goal. Orlando won, Louisville won.
Incredible fight from Sydney Leroux. Just exhausted on the pitch right now as she finally catches her breath. She gave everything throughout this game. After that Louisville goal early in the 20th minute or so, Sydney Leroux never stopped fighting. She's the one that kept pressing hard, and she's the one that ultimately got the goal, and deservedly so for Orlando Pride. A great fight from Louisville, though. Give them so much credit for how they held Orlando Pride until the stoppage time at the very end.
We've seen Sydney Leroux over the years provide so much. But one wonders if she's ever run as many miles as she did today. End line to end line. And finally gets one over the line in the dying 2 minutes. Orlando and Louisville 1-1. We wrap it up after this. Mom got the game-winning goal. Well, the game-tying goal. Orlando won, Louisville won. It's going to feel special here for Orlando. It ends a 2-match losing streak, and that's the moment of the night for Sydney Leroux. A goal with 100 seconds to go to avoid a third consecutive defeat, and they needed every bit that Leroux had to offer. Here we go, full-time highlights. Ebony Salmon off of Krieger by Harris, 1-0.
Incredible job by Ebony Salmon. The ball coming in from CC Kaiser. Just the first for Ebony Salmon throughout this game. They thought it was going to take them until the very end. Little did they know that the Orlando Pride had so much fight in them until the final seconds. The Pride throw everyone forward. Ashlyn Harris, goalkeeper, sending this lofted ball through to find Sydney Leroux, just waiting on the back post for it. She finds the side netting, and Exploria just goes crazy.
Third goalkeeper assist in all competitions in league history. Campbell, Smith, and now Harris. Fifth goal for Sydney Leroux. Here are the standings now. Orlando pulls equivalent to North Carolina on 16 points. The Courage have 2 games in hand. Racing Louisville don't get all 3 like they had hoped. They will not go into 4th, but they are now just 1 point off the playoffs.
And Orlando Pride sitting at the very top of the table again, tied for first. They snapped their losing streak, and Racing Louisville, 1 point, better than no points for them tonight. They move a little bit up the rankings in this regular season.
So Orlando at home with so much pressure, pick up a late equalizing goal. That'll have them feeling much better as they look ahead to a match at Portland next week. For Lisa Roman and our entire Vista WorldLink crew, led by producer Sharni Yerke, director Eric Calero, Manny Simone, and our team in Orlando, Mike Watts saying thanks for watching the NWSL on Twitch. Pride 1, Racing 1. Good night.